has just not gotten to it.
Well, hey everybody. Welcome back to another week. Real glad everyone can join me. So they can see that I am clearly not putting things in my notes.
Now.
So I can completely get away from that. Someone tell me what happened last week.
Lithium.
I think you lost someone.
You screamed.
Oh, right, Kayla. Sorry.
You should be. Trying to get serious, Tim.
Why so serious?
Oh God, because we didn't die. That's what happened last time. We were trying to stealth, be super sneak. So the damn thing from the Merc didn't murder us all. For a nice change of pace, Hasvard helped Lithian out. And then Lithian saw something and tried to speak and rolled a 1 and screamed it instead, thereby starting combat. And we decimated some elementals.
Mm-hmm.
And then made something, I don't know what the thing is, whatever it was, very angry. Did a lot of damage to it, and then it did a lot of damage to us. We almost lost 2 weapons, my axe and Hasvard's dagger, with my fist also getting stuck in said creature.
Almost lost a lot.
Yeah, and then begging the handmaiden to bring it back.
After spending 8 rounds of trying to banish it, and then doing it, and then going, could you not?
Bring it back! Bring it back! Yeah. And
Banish
then
happened late.
Banish happened late. Brought it back with a nice, round of basically surprise attack damage that we were able to get in there. We succeeded relatively quickly in killing it. And I think that's about where we ended.
That is fair. Anyone else have anything to add?
Under Martel's combat guidance, we took a quick rest, which gave us all a point of exhaustion. Just a reminder to everyone.
Except for me.
I didn't want to.
If you took it.
Yeah, if you took it. That's important for each individual to know. If you did, you have a point of exhaustion. If you didn't, well, then you don't. Well, with all that said and done, Lithian, feel free to take your 3 inspiration points for participating in the recap.
Cool.
As for where we left off, you all were standing on the outskirts of this massive frozen lake in a cold, unrelenting snowstorm, standing over what was the remains of this creature that have now been sheared and ripped apart by the ferocity of Lithian's lichen rage. After kind of parsing through its, meaty, shredded remains and finding a couple of goodies to grab with you, Snow will just sort of compose herself and then point to a far-off direction where visibility does not allow you to see and make a pointed. That is the way we need to keep going. Is everyone all right to travel?
Yes.
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 But there might be more, so we should be careful still.
Agreed. Well, Then to keep things interesting, why doesn't everybody make me a stealth check?
Sure. I'm still on the roadmap. Are we going back to the...
No, we're staying on the roadmap for now.
Okay.
Oh, this should be interesting. I got a nat 1.
I think it's a 5.
Yep. Wait, for me?
Yeah. What's your total?
No, my total is 9.
34.
Is Hasworth still helping me?
Yeah, I said I'm giving you advantage.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear it. And
Okay.
which means I just straight roll. Cool.
29 for Martel.
17.
Be much worse.
Yes. Yes, it could.
Sorry, 33 due to the exhaustion. I'm gonna have to keep myself in check.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Check yourself.
Well, the good news is, despite all odds, the collective group is still running on a bit of adrenaline from the fight, and even with the slight tumble from Tajira as you guys advance forward up and over one of the banks, she is caught, and you continue to move through what is this just large, just white sheet. Part of the way through, you notice over the expanse of the lake that a central part of it, remember, it's a large lake. I guess here we'll just go back. We'll just go. It's a very large, expansive lake.
Oh, sorry.
About 250 feet across. You see somewhere in the middle that it suddenly something falls inward, and you see just a section of the snow and ice and rock just sort of fall down, where it seems to collapse. It gives everyone halt for at least a moment, given that the noise it makes is very loud. But nothing seems to come of it other than that it happened. All right. Everyone keep moving. Best we stay clear of the lake. And despite the weather and the ice and the cold, you will, over the better part of about 45 minutes to an hour, make your way past the threshold of the lake, eventually moving beyond its perimeter. Now we go. So, now comes the time where you guys decide where you want to go next. You have a branch here, which could take you straight into the end of the day and a long rest, or you advance on the road you're currently on into what is gently called a social encounter, aka there are humanoids.
With wild magic.
With wild.
Like, I know 1 point of exhaustion isn't the worst thing in the world. I still don't like it.
I would agree. I would prefer to sleep.
So,
Surprise.
Big shock.
Huh.
Tim prefers to sleep.
Oh my god. It's not
Surprise.
like super likely that we'll fight said humanoid.
Hmm.
We don't know that.
I said super likely. I didn't say it was
Hmm.
unlikely.
Yeah, it's like, 70-30.
Yeah.
No,
We
actually,
also have a Martell, so I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm not attached to one or the other, which is what I'm saying.
The path to the right does have less. It has 2 anti-magics. So the path to the left has 1 anti-magic.
So
The
are we
middle
saying
is 2.
anti-magic is like, because if we're talking about things in general, we're going to hit 4 minimum and 5 maximum.
Oh, the anti?
So-
We could just
No,
hit 2.
anti and wild magic. Like if we're
Well-
going for like the least amount of all of them that we can do,
it's
Two.
2. It's 2.
yeah.
Oh, we could do 1.
No.
No,
There's no way to do
2
that.
is the least.
2 is the
Oh.
minimum.
How so? Because you can go to here,
Yep.
then you can go up here, go
Uh-huh.
up here, and then there.
Yeah, you cross over
Yeah.
1 anti-magic
So
and 1 wild magic.
Yes,
Oh,
dude.
I was
Fields.
just counting anti-magic.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking about it both. But fair.
Because anti-magic was the one that Martell was specifically trying to avoid. Right?
I mean, that was what Ben was talking about. Metagame. Martell doesn't know what's ahead.
Right. Sorry, this is kind of a metagame field, though.
Well, I mean, it's also been explained that there are patches of, wild magic and anti-magic.
No,
And
of course.
Snow will
but
do her best to navigate you away from them.
I do try to distinguish the decisions of Martell from the decisions of Ben.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Anyways, I mean, if people need a rest, Martell is fine and would be fine to continue. If people need to rest, we can absolutely take the branching path. The only reason I advocate for continuing down this path is, as CJ knows and many of you know, I'm a bit of a story purist. I love seeing the story, and we're not likely to see the left path story if we don't continue down it. In fact, we're not really gonna see much of any story with the path of least magical fields
True.
is to prevail.
Mm-hmm.
This does have the most story.
But like I said, that's me going, I love story and I want lots and lots of story.
It's not
If
to
it's
say
not
that
good, if it's not good for the party, I'm more than happy to concede.
I would like to state that I don't think that there's less story if we go these other routes. Like there is still the possibility of other things in the exploration, right?
Allow me to explain what Ben's getting at, which is my original explanation of this is that every road, there are 3 paths. Each path has its own arc that is written into it. If you start cutting over paths, you are moving from one story piece that you're in into another story piece, not knowing or having any of the context from the previously established points. So if you continue all the way up one, you get to see it develop from start to finish. Versus cutting over, say after the second branch, you're going to end up right in the middle of a story beat and not know exactly what's going on. So it's not that there isn't story. There's story down all 3. It's just whether or not how much of it you understand or how much you've been able to contribute or be a part of.
Yes, I apologize for not explaining that well.
No, that was also me forgetting something from last week. So thank you for the refresher. That is fantastic. Well, looking at the left side, yeah, it doesn't look like it would be too bad. The one situation that I'm worried about for both the left-hand side and the middle path is that we would hit 2 fights before we get to the temple or to the city. And do we want to be hurt when we get there with the expectation that we might be able to rest there?
I mean, My understanding of it is that these three are the culmination of what we're doing. When we reach here, we've reached our destination. It's no longer us getting into an encounter. We would be able to rest. That was my understanding, at least. But if I am wrong, then
It is more or less
absolutely,
correct.
we should avoid being super exhausted upon arrival. But
I like the more or less part about that.
well, I'm
which
just looking at any path we take is going to have us. It requires us to at least have 2 encounters.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the fact that like it's the end to.
No, I reach
my
out.
one. On the other hand, like I love the fact that you're bringing forward, which is you're right. The story on the left that we have started would be very neat to follow down. I also totally see it as plausible because there's only 2, like only air quotes 2 combat adventures. But this is a commitment. We will not be coming off of this path.
Yeah. Unless we decide to branch off at this rest point. But like I said, I am not necessarily advocating for what's best for the party. That is not what I am advocating for. I am advocating for story because I want it. It is not necessarily what's good for everybody. If people want what's good for everybody, going here is what's good for everybody. Shall we make an official vote then?
Sure. I'll vote left.
I will vote to stay on this path.
Hara?
I'm indifferent.
All right, we're going left.
All right.
Going left. And left we go. And thank you. I completely forgot that you guys had access to the token. All right. Then you guys will move on. The weather takes a turn for the worse. What was 10 to 15 feet of visibility has now been reduced to almost a complete whiteout. You can see just about your hand in front of you. It is at this point that Snow has advised that you guys try to find the nearest place for shelter that is reasonable. As a precaution, Snow threads a string through the whole group, giving everybody a piece to hold on to, so that way you at the very least know what direction you're walking in behind someone. Even the red spot that Snow has provided on the back of their cloak can't be visibly seen. You press through this for what seems like an unreasonable amount of time. It never ends, and you're never entirely certain where your companions are, except for the tiny little thread that you're holding that vanishes just out of sight. It isn't until, as you're going in your marching order, that you kind of all get so close to one another from having paused that you can see the backs of the person in front of you. Martel being the first person behind Snow, you would see Snow has put up a hand to halt the movement. And while almost impossible to see, Snow just makes a very obvious pointing gesture to quite literally right over where she's standing. And through a little bit of, mildly close, like dipping and bending around Snow to look to see what she's gesturing at, you see in the deep snow that is still falling are footprints that are beginning to get filled. Several, in fact, probably about half a dozen. or so. It's just a line of people that have come through here before you. And the footprints are not small. They aren't abnormally large, but for, the average humanoid, the average medium-sized humanoid, they're big. It could easily have been orcs or Goliaths or something in that nature. Like, that's the kind of size you're looking at. Like, these are some people walking around with some size 16, 17 feet, Like, real noticeably just huge people. And that's when Snow just sort of looks at you, Martel, unable to really speak to anyone else with any particular ease. Do we want to follow in their wake, or do we want to go back? Take a different path.
Martel turn to turn to Snow, her, and say, you know these places better than I do. Are they going to kill us if we follow them?
Depends on the day, depends on the person. Anyone that is out here is risking their lives, and they tend to be capable. Might try to take our goods. They might be sympathetic, and perhaps we camp together. It is uncertain.
We'll ask the rest. She'll turn and pose the question to everybody else.
Telephone.
Yeah. Telephone it down. She'll say, I think we should follow the footsteps. It may be the safest path.
Pass it
If
on.
they're going somewhere in this blizzard, it might mean shelter as well.
I'm so sad we didn't actually telephone that. Yeah. If they have shelter, it's worth a shot.
Asgard thinks they have tiny feet. Until he sees them. Then he
Until
thinks
you
he might.
realize you're standing in one.
Yeah.
All right, then we keep moving. And you press onward, now following in the wake of whoever these large individuals were. You find yourself wading through snow, still not seeing a whole heck of a lot in front of you. The cold beginning to creep into your bones as the light around you is starting to fade. And then you hear the first sounds of what appears to be thunder. And there's a tremor underneath your feet. And in a moment, lightning fast, there's a fissure that tears itself past you and the party. I need everyone to make dexterity saves.
That shouldn't be too bad.
It's pretty good. That's a 28.
Pretty good. No, that's really good.
Well, comparatively, it's only pretty good. 30.
Oh,
All right.
guys, come on.
Weird
16.
flex, but okay.
This was good. This was a good roll for Tajira.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
14.
All right. Gonna catch up with our resident NPCs who respectively rolled a 20 and a 19 naturally.
Yeah, everyone's trying to show us up.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of people were prepared for it.
I wasn't trying to flex on anybody.
You just want to shave 5 off and give it to Lithian? the snow and ice cracks open underneath all of you.
Oh.
It is reflexive for everyone to just begin running to try to keep ground underneath their feet. Unfortunately, it is not entirely successful for everyone.
Yeah.
As you scramble, Tajira and Lithian, ground is falling underneath, out from underneath your feet faster than you can get it there. And you begin to fall. We have a split second,
question.
not even 6 seconds. Yes, Hasvard.
If I use 2 points of inspiration, could I technically take Lithian's place?
Are you trying to do a get down, Mr. President, but with a fissure?
Sorry, I'll pull up the thing, but I'm pretty sure that if someone fails it, you can use 2 of your inspiration to
Yeah, just pull it up. Let's get a ruling for this. I'm also just trying to imagine the world where Hasvard is physically capable of shoving Lithian out of the way to save her. I really just imagine him going, and Lithian going nowhere.
He grabs the rope that is attached between us.
It's a string, not a rope.
Is it
It's
a string? Oh, I thought it was a rope. Well,
It's a
that's much
string.
less-
There's also a Tajira in between.
I'm about to say yes. You also have distances.
Oh, yeah, it's not 5 feet. Fine. Yeah, you're right.
Give me.
Hey, listen, I've got a good acrobatics, so let me do this.
just let her fall. Just let Lithian fall. But yes, it is the most important thing is that because of the marching order, Hasvard, you can really only respond directly to Tajira unless you want to put yourself into harm's way to try to really get the Lithian.
I was trying to do that because she's the strongest and most likely to be able to save us, but
I mean, everyone's pretty much fine. It's only those two that are in trouble.
Yeah.
But that being said, less thinking, more doing. Everyone has a single action to do. Tajira and Lithian, you both get one, but you are going at the bottom of everything.
Yay.
And we're just going to sort of we're just gonna go kind of in marching order by pairs. So Snow and Martel, the Handmaiden and Hasvard, and then we'll do Tajira and Lithian. So Martel,
All right.
any thoughts?
Running from collapsing ice, Lithian and Tajira are heading over the edge.
Oh yeah.
Are there any? I know I have to be quick. Is there any like stalagmites? Are those the ones that come from the ground? Stalagmites, or is it
Yes.
stalactites?
Stalactites, G for ground, stalactites, C for ceiling. That's how I remember.
That's a really good way to remember. All right, yeah, stalagmites. Are there any stalagmites nearby? Big ones.
Let's
strong
find out.
ones?
Roll a D100 dice. We'll see if we generate some.
Okay.
You wanna-
This is environmental, not Martel related. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh man, it's a 7.
That's a negative.
Yeah,
That's a
all
negative,
right.
Ghost Rider. No stalactites.
Then Martel can think of nothing she can do to save her friends. She frantically looks around, hoping to whip onto one. She doesn't see anything good as an anchoring point, and fails to do anything, I imagine.
Snow's kind of in the same position. Snow.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Snow's gonna try to do something, but Snow can't do anything right now. So Snow's gonna spend the time like running, and trying to. You see her, Martel, doing something with a rope and an arrow, but just doesn't have time to react right now. So she's still running.
It's not. I don't want you guys to die or fail. I did my best, and I have a short period of time. I figured
Oh,
only
I
one
know.
idea.
Handmaiden and Hasvard.
Hasvard reaches one hand out towards the handmaiden and the other out towards Tajira. And hopefully she gets the image. Because I don't have any special abilities to do any. Oh, but she might. I stab my sword into the ground and reach my hand out for Tajira.
The ground that's falling.
Oh, is it still falling? We're still
Oh
running?
yeah, no, it's still going. Yeah, it's not like the fissure rupturing the earth has stopped. It's still going.
So, oh dear Lord, Kay. I really don't know what to do. Like it's a split second situation.
It is,
I'm
it
rogue.
is.
I really don't have anything. Wow. And it's not a situation where you can be like, I whip out a rope and throw it to them.
I mean,
Like-
you can, and they're gonna catch the rope, and then what do you do with the other end?
And then I fly with them, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. So yeah, I guess I throw a rope back and yell to grab my hand. And hopefully
so-
they can Tarzan if they actually fall off. I don't know.
What direction are you throwing the rope? I need to be certain.
Am I allowed to do a sleight of hand and throw it both ways?
I'm just literally not following. Physics tells me momentum travels in one direction. So how are you trying to throw a rope in two directions? I know it's got two ends. So are you just like 25 feet
Yeah,
and you're just like,
You grab it by two halves of the coil and you throw them in opposite directions. Instantaneously.
yeah, I feel you. That's a weird maneuver, but sure, make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I don't want to use that dice. Let's use this dice. What is it? It's 25.
Okay. Despite physics perhaps not completely supporting the idea, you managed to get enough movement and momentum behind 25 feet of rope in either hand to projectile launch them in either direction. One end of the other rope is going to fly past Lithian and Tajira. Both of you are more than welcome to spend your reaction in an attempt to grab.
Okay.
On our respective turns.
Reaction, as in right
Reaction. Okay. What am I rolling for that?
now. Athletics or acrobatics, either of your choices.
I got a 16.
24.
Okay, you both managed to grab onto the rope. I mean, it's loose, it's flying in the air, it passes by you, and you can get a hand around it. Hasvard, the other side of the rope, launches 25 feet in a direction and lands somewhere 25 feet over there. The visibility is super duper bad. You're not sure where it went.
I definitely scream, grab the rope. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Grab the rope.
Yep.
I have
Okay.
really good hearing, okay?
I mean, you do. You hear the panic in Hasvard's voice.
It's gonna hurt.
Something's gonna hurt. It's like, so many spell slots are gone. What do I do?
I'm gonna take it she doesn't have Featherfall.
She can't see them. Doesn't matter.
That's dumb.
A lot of spells require sight. By blinding people is really, really powerful. Although, for funsies, I'll double check If Featherfall requires fight? 5 willing creatures within range? Technically not. Right, alright. Given that my quick understanding of it was a little off. The Handmaiden, in the flurry that is going on, there will be an unseen white down feather that she'll release from somewhere within her coat, and it'll just sort of evaporate into several little golden globules. And Tajira and Lithian, you will feel your momentum dramatically slow, which makes the shift of gravity is a little unusual. Because, you know, it's kind of like something like you're like, and you level out, and then you're holding onto the rope, and you realize the rope is kind of just sliding now, and you realize it's not attached to anything as you're watching now falling very slowly as the sheer rock and ice in front of you is still just falling away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A question. So right now, do we still have footing, or are we like Wile E. Coyoteing this?
Yes. The latter.
So, okay, no footing.
No footing.
So, can I go?
You and Lithian are going right now.
Okay. Can I see where the rope is, and is it on solid ground?
You're holding the rope, and you can't see more than 5 feet in front of you.
I can't see more than 5 feet.
Nope. Visibility has been reduced due to the blizzard.
Okay, so very interesting question. Can I extend the size of black tentacles?
Using the warp spell ability?
Yes, because I want to make a long one. Because technically I can make it up to 30 feet radius.
Okay, let me go double check. Like, I should just have this open because it's going to come up all the time. Yeah, opening the PDF. That's going to just take a year to open the PDF.
Congrats, Adobe.
So how is everyone else doing? Good? Not suffering from terrible Adobe lag? Yep.
Not paying for the Adobe suite, thank goodness. Ugh.
Okay, and then it crashed out. All right, cool. Just gonna go into the Google Drive then.
I can paste it in the chat.
Yeah, please. Yeah, you got it. Just click the button and tell me what it is.
I clicked the button. I think it's in the chat.
It is not in the Roll20 chat.
Oh, that's because the stupid button didn't appear. There you go.
Well, and the ability.
That is the ability.
Not the spell. The ability. The warping ability.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
The thing you're trying to use with Black Tentacle? Thank you.
Yes. Oh, sorry. 20 feet. But I could make it a line up to 40 feet. Or cone.
You could make it a line or a cone up to 40 feet.
So,
but the thing is, though, is that these tentacles aren't attached. They come out of a rift you conjure. So
yes.
If you're trying to use this as a like an Indiana Jones whip to latch onto something, it's not going to do what you think. If that was the idea. If it's not, you're more than welcome to explain to me what you're thinking.
Yeah, the point was just to get it, hopefully, like one of them attached to something that's not falling to grab the rope.
So you want the tentacle to grab the rope.
Yes. So what I'd do is put a line down where I see the rope coming from, and it would be 40 feet in that direction, and the tentacles grab anything in their range, right? So one of them, if they were to be attached to, say, the ground that isn't moving, could possibly grab the rope.
So the problem with this theory, which I like, is the fact that it requires, first of all, for you to be able to see a space to cast a spell. As it stands, you're casting it on top of yourself.
Well, I can cast it in a lying direction in front of me, though, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. But then if it stays on ground that might exist, because currently you're falling.
Right.
So there's no ground underneath.
Right.
So the place you can see on the ground, there is no ground. You can't see ground. You see falling.
Right. So the question then is, do I have to see the end of the 40 feet to be able to cast it there?
No, but you need a starting point to cast it from. The spell is specific. A square on the ground that you can see within range.
Okay.
Your visibility is about 5 feet. Mm-hmm. You are falling. There is no ground underneath you.
I can't see ground in any direction.
You can literally see as far as your arm extends from you. And you are falling.
Yeah, but I thought we were standing on stuff.
No, you guys aren't.
Yeah, no, okay, but we were standing on something, right?
You were.
I'm not trying to labor this point, but we're standing on something, and so we would be falling at the same rate as the thing underneath our feet.
Except the land didn't fall with you. It split.
So
something the land didn't break up into little pieces and fall underneath you. The land split down the middle. You were falling into a crevice that the land you were previously walking on is now 2 parts of.
Okay, fair enough.
So, plans.
I mean, she can't do anything. So
You're saying I can't see the wall in front of us. Away.
Nope. He said your vision is about as far as your arm goes out, and the fissure is growing. It didn't just crack and stop; it's still going.
Well, yeah. No, I got that. I thought we were a lot closer than we were. There's literally nothing I can do.
All right. Your slow descent is agonizing as you hear the world shaking all around you. Asvard, you're continuing to move so that you are not threatened by this. Grabbing onto the edge of the rope as you follow it into the white blindness beyond.
Yep.
And you don't realize it until it's too late. And you run headlong into just what feels like running headlong into a tree. You just grab the rope, you're looking around behind you, like hoping you see Tajira or Lithian, and then you just kind of like you ran into a wall.
The rope's taut?
On the end in front of you, not behind you. If the rope was taut, it would have been pulling. It is rapidly happening. It is not taut yet because the end of the rope you're holding on to has not been pulled by the other end of the people that are holding on to it.
Okay. And is there an object in front of me that I actually ran into?
Yes.
What is it?
From what you can see, because of the low visibility, it's a pair of heavily armored legs.
Look up.
You see them attached to what looks like a heavily armored torso, and then the snow is just kind of strong enough that you can make out the silhouette of a person. They're holding the other end of your rope.
Oh. Very, very charmingly call up. We could use a hand running from the fissure.
Then keep on running.
My friends are attached to the other end of the rope. And start pulling it past him if I can.
It's in his hand.
Oh.
Like the rope you were following, it goes up right into his hands. And then when you begin running past him, you see another tall figure and another tall figure and another tall figure. And then you all watch as they sort of turn about, and with the rope in their hand, they begin running with you.
Good.
And very abruptly, Tajira and Lithian, you both are slammed into a side of ice. As the rope you're holding onto suddenly begins pulling you, and you're just whap, kind of like falling flat after trying to dive into a swimming pool. Both of you, make me a strength save. See how well you brace yourself against something you didn't see coming right away.
28.
Save?
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. That's street 13.
Okay. Unsurprising for Lithian, you will succeed. Unless this was literally the hardest, strength save ever in the history of every game anywhere. You managed to brace yourself well, curling in, and just you kind of catch the wall with your shoulder and back, relieving a lot of the force where it just sort of suddenly. Tajiri, you're not as lucky. You do hit the wall a little harder. You will take 4 points of bludgeoning damage. And you both will then be quite forcefully pulled up along this sheer sheet of ice at a pace that is a little alarming. Hasvard, as you are running, the footsteps of these individuals you can hear, and it's just booming one after the other, heavy footsteps. Eventually, Tajira and Lithian, you guys find yourself pulled up onto a snowy surface, and then still pulled through the snow. Do either of you let go of the rope at any point?
No.
No.
In which case, after about an uncomfortable 2 to 3 minutes of being pulled through snow and ice, it'll finally stop. Martel, you and Snow cut around the long way, that given that you guys have gone left on the other side of the fissure. Eventually now making it around the further side, guided by Snow trying to find where everyone else ended up. The Handmaiden, when you spend that time making your way through the blizzard, following in Snow's wake, the Handmaiden eventually just sort of falls in line behind you, Martel. Kind of just out of the white.
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long where you are led to, you can just see bits and pieces passing through the heavy snowfall beyond. These dark, silhouetted, heavily armored figures, and just a tiny little diminutive Hasvard not too far away. And you see one of the large figures is marching off back towards the direction of the fissure. Tajira and Lithian, given that you were the ones pulled up and you're close enough together, you'll see a very large stature, a large stature-esque figure appear in your vicinity. And it's just going to sort of unceremoniously, like not even checking on either of you, attempt to grab you by your waists and lift you. Do you resist?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. There's awkward struggling, and then when you're like a foot off the ground, they just drop you. They just sort of turn, and a hand cupped around the front of the full plate helmet, you just hear a voice boom out. I think they're all right. Your friend is worried about you. Come along.
Thank you.
And just the figure will just begin walking back in the direction it came from.
That's terrifying.
To take some extra time, just lay face up on the ground.
All right. you'll have an uncomfortable moment where the rope is getting coiled back together, and you'll just feel it sort of like slither underneath you for a moment, like it's a snake passing by. But other than that, yeah, you're just kind of lying there in the cold. The snowflakes, beginning to gather, staring up at the white sky. Wondering, was this the right choice to make? Do you really want to go to snow hell?
Don't worry,
No.
Lithian. I got you.
Out of the white shadows comes the Hasvar.
Hand down. Come on.
A hilarious gesture.
Oh, yeah.
Just look up at you and go, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna stay here. You guys go on. I'm done. I'm staying.
Oh, if only it were that easy. But
It is that easy. Goodbye.
we'll have drinks once we stop, and hopefully another fissure doesn't open up underneath our feet.
At that, like, she just glares at you.
Speaking of,
Fine.
we need more drinks with our new company.
You brought that liquor, did you?
Oh, of course I brought that liquor.
All right. I'm getting it.
Do it with the wonderful. Are they giants? What are they?
They're not that big. They are large, but the bits and pieces you're seeing, they're covered from head to toe in armor. You're not entirely sure of the race, but again, stature-wise, they're very big for humanoids. Based off of your height, and you're a short boy, so you're used to being able to size people up from down there. The shortest one you saw out of the collective group is about 7.5 feet tall.
Like orc size?
Orc or Goliath.
Okay.
I mean, could even be Minotaur, but Minotaurs are pretty rare, and you would obviously see horns.
Yeah.
Could be some sort of half breed too. But yeah, like Orc or Goliath are the easy jump tos for sure.
Okay, cool.
And their weakness is tartar sauce.
Turn back towards the group, letting Lithian sulk. Oh boy. Thank you so much. Do I see our other allies off in the distance, or are they being sneaky?
I guess that's a good question. Do y'all want to be sneaky? Mostly Martel.
I think Martel is concerned enough for her friends that she's not trying to hide.
All right.
Oh, you all made it!
Yes. Thank you for the rope.
Well, thank her for a feather.
I was worried we lost you after the ground started falling.
He's not happy about the ground here. But we are fine, right, Lithian?
She's not there right now.
Oh, I thought she had gotten up for the drink.
No, she decided to stay there.
Yeah, she needs a minute, so she's over there.
And as a dad, in those moments where you're just like, no, it's okay. You do that. You do you.
I'll come pick you up in 40 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was a dad and my daughter nearly fell off the edge of a cliff and then decided to lay at the edge of that cliff, I'd let her stay there.
Touche.
I would like to see Hasvard try and stop me.
But again, Handmaiden, you hands down earned my trust on that one. That was amazing. Thank you for saving their lives. And mine, because I would have gone over that cliff.
It has only come at a small cost.
Which is?
My sight.
Wait. Are her eyes closed? Is she?
No, her eyes are open. But when you look under the hooded visage there, you see that her once previously very bright gold eyes are now completely covered in cataracts. White.
Wait, no, that. Why do gods always think that sacrifice is the thing? Hasbard stops, breathes. Sorry?
You were missing the point. As someone not magically inclined, you might not have noticed this. But the spell became unstable. This was the repercussion of it. You must be standing in an area filled with wild magic.
Martel puts her hand on her shoulder and says, "Do you believe it is permanent?"
Oh, I think it will go away with some time. I'm just not certain how long.
Small blessings.
For one that was just shunning the gods, that is an interesting choice of words.
No, the actions of some gods. But yes. Are we not all hypocrites? Anyways.
Yep, Martel just stares at Hasbard. No? Well, if you cannot see and need help around, please feel free to rely on me.
One of the large armored figures is going to walk up, get very close, and then kneel down, so he's, about head level with everyone. Our leader has asked if you wanted to travel with us for a time. We're moving through a dangerous area of wild magics, and then plan on resting.
Have people filled Martel in on the fact that these guys saved lives? I think Hasbard said that.
Yes. No, number one, I saved our, come on. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I would fill in the fact that, I ran into them, they grabbed the rope, and they literally just helped us out of the blue, for no good reason, and he likes them. So be nice to him.
Alright, then Martel will say, "We owe you a debt. We would be happy to travel with you. See if we can repay it."
Very well. Is there a whole party here?
Are they? Has Lithian decided to join us?
That's really the question here.
She is within earshot, but not speaking to anybody, not looking at anybody, but she's there.
Martel will say, "Yes, this is everyone."
Lhasa would like to get moving. Gather everyone. Stay close.
Perfect. If he goes to head back, Asvar will walk with him and be like, "So, was the ravine or the crevice something that happens often in this area?"
On and off. The wild magics in the area can make things very unstable and unpredictable. Sometimes they'll tear open parts of the land, other times the ice becomes an ocean, sometimes it'll burst into fire.
Is there any tells that your tribe or your group knows of?
Lhasa can sense the wild magics before they surge, and can glimpse what they'll be, and therefore we act accordingly.
He said Lhasa?
Lhasa. As usual, I'll provide some names.
Thank you.
In the Roll20 check.
Lhasa. Oh, is that is that the name of your leader? No. What did you say his name was?
That's Lhasa.
It is.
Yes. Yes.
And he'll just keep walking with them and having some small talk about like, what do they generally eat, and have you ever tried like pickled plums or things like that.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll get to what you learn in a moment. Just need to make sure we catch everyone else up. Is it just a matter of gathering Lithine and wrapping her in a blanket and pulling her along? Or,
She's just going to sulk and not letting anyone touch her. But she'll follow.
Oh, okay. So she is gonna get up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she was still just staying there sulking.
No. She's standing and sulking.
In which case, you guys just kind of follow in a shadowed line behind. Halvard, you learn a couple of things, which is they don't. This group that you've met, they don't live here. They are traveling here on a pilgrimage. Their people are actually well known for doing and pickling all kinds of things, because they help last longer on their pilgrimages and their journeys that they take, since they're fairly nomadic. It eventually comes to the forefront that this group is a group of Goliaths, each of which, in a very funny way, represent each of the major clans of giants that exist. There's a one from each of the lineages, if you will. Except there's 5 of them. They're one short, to which the one that you've been talking up will explain that they lost him partway through the pilgrimage prior to being or arriving on to Iridu. So there's only 5 of them.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's all right. He's merely just returned to the Allmaker. One day we all hope to be there.
So you don't think what's happening with the wolf and the sheep has any effect on your passings?
Stops. Like you see that helmeted head just sort of turn like in contemplation. No, not really. Those gods aren't our gods.
Now you've given me something to think about. What is this gentleman's name that I've been talking with? Because
This is Nazor.
Nazor? Okay.
Nazor.
No, you've given me something to think about, Nazor. Which,
I am pleased to hear. Sorry, what was that?
Which of the giants do you represent?
Oh.
The lollipop guild.
My representation belongs to those of the Frost clans.
So you're right at home.
Yes, quite. It's very comfortable here. The others complain very frequently.
Yeah, I like Nazar. I'm gonna keep talking to him, but let's keep that on the sidetrack because I don't need to take up all the time.
I mean, eventually you guys will sort of fall in line, and that's when you will realize there are a group of 5 of them. Their stature, which is tall and broad, makes them out obviously to be Goliaths. They wear from head to toe beautifully crafted full plate armor. They are covered from head to toe, and when you get close enough, you can tell there are a series of runes that are etched into the armor, and some of them are actively glowing, just not all. So if you assume from head to toe, there's about 50 or so runes. There are about 5 or 6 of them in varying points over the joints and stuff that are currently glowing this light blue color. One of which has a cloak and a hood propped up over their helmet, and that you will be introduced to as Lhasa, their leader, a Stromer, or a Storm Goliath. The names...
Go ahead.
No.
I was going to say,
Of
before
course.
we arrive at anywhere that we're stopping, Martel would want to hold a private secret council with Snow and with the Handmaiden.
Oh, okay.
Speak with them separately, far enough into the blizzard that they can see, but are sure she can't be heard.
Okay. Simple enough to do. You can just proceed.
Yep. She'll just say, Snow, are they leading us, in as far as you are aware, to a safe place?
Sort of hard to tell in the blizzard, but I would say yes. There's a rest point I know that isn't overly far from this position.
Very well. I do not fully trust them. I know they saved companions of ours, but it's hard to get valuables from people down in a crevasse.
That is correct.
The three of us could just be wary.
Agreed.
Honestly.
While my abilities are currently limited due to my lack of sight, I will listen carefully to the conversations that will be held and attempt to see if there are any deception among them. If I notice anything, I will alert the rest of you.
Thank you. And I will do my best to make nice. And that'll be that. She'll kind of try and catch up.
And as I was explaining just before that,
Sorry.
I'm going to give you the list because you would just have casual introductions sort of passed around through the group. And I'm just writing all their names and what they are in the Roll20 chat so you can have a quick and easy reference. Oh, I missed one. And apparently I doubled Nazor. So deal with it.
Fine. You list his race. I guess. Type. Race.
Yeah, further down.
So.
Oh yeah, I did Lost on Nazor like that. I don't know why I wrote. Oh, never mind. I didn't. I'm just reading the previous things I've typed in chat. And then Lhasa. I didn't mean to hit enter. I meant to hit shift.
Okay. That's fine. All right.
Yes, you would be introduced to all these fine fellows at some point in their intimidating statures and equipment. To complement their very well crafted full plate, they all also brandish exquisitely crafted weaponry as well. And not to be stopped at a single weapon, but several. They look very capable. And as expected, of basically finding anyone else out here on the plains of Iridium. After moving away from the fissure, it's about 5 to 10 minutes. The blizzard lets up a small amount, increasing your visibility by about another 5 feet, so you can see about 10 feet around you. And that's when you'll notice somewhere up ahead, at the head of the march, where Lhasa, their leader, is, you'll see that there'll be a brief glow of this cyan-colored energy, and then suddenly all the snow from the blizzard that's just pelting you will all get just pushed away in this huge sphere, clearing a 30-foot radius all around you, like you're in an invisible bubble, and the snow is falling down around you, striking off of it and then falling, kind of like a reverse snow globe. And you just kind of finally hear Nazor go, "Oh, about time." Now we can actually hear ourselves talk.
is nice to have the clearer weather.
Oh. I don't know how quickly this is going to clear up, but at the very least, Lassa's given us a little peace of mind. And you just kind of watch Nazor go up to the edge of this bubble that's been made and puts a hand outside and grabs a handful of snow and then pulls it in and just begins eating it. Then you just kind of hear from the front of the column, everybody keep moving. And you just continue lumbering along, alongside your new-found temporary allies. This is an opportunity, for those of you interested, if you want to ask them some questions, now is the time. Any or all of you are more than welcome to do something or contribute something.
I don't know if you want to RP it, but Tajira is still looking for stories, so she'll be asking.
And hang on, Kyle, we're hearing ourselves through your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Better? Yes, better. Tajira will still be looking for stories from them. So if one of them has the time to tell a decently long story, or any kind of story, because she assumes they will have some very interesting stories.
Quick DM, make up a decently long story on the spot.
Sure, let me tell you this nice story over the next 3 hours.
Like, to the point of like she wants to write. I can write down in a journal that she has a story from them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. And I can give you an abbreviated summation that I can send to you so you can note it down.
Okay.
I will tell you what the story is now, which is, as Nazor mentioned to Hasvard, he mentioned that they have lost one of their numbers already. And he will tell you the story of how their comrade fell.
Cool. Is there a name
For the fallen comrade, or for the person telling you the story?
for the comrade and the person telling the story?
So the person telling you the story is Fodder, the elder Goliath. And the story they're telling you is about their Stein Goliath friend, a stone Goliath, Rumo, R-U-M-O.
All right. Thank.
Anybody else?
Yeah, if Martel is able to speak with Lhasa, she would.
Mm-hmm. Lassa's keeping a strong, firm pace and is at the head. But seems amiable enough to speak to.
Wait, sorry, Lhasa, he, she, they?
He.
He. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean, here, I'll point that out to you. The whole group, it's composed of 4 males and 1 female.
Oh, wait.
Now, hang on before I put my foot in my mouth. Yeah, now the lofty Goliath is the female. The rest of them are males.
Okay. Then Martel will be up with Lhasa, and she'll ask it. So, what brings you out here?
We are on a pilgrimage. We are seeking the first workshop of one of the original giant creators.
Click. Is it some kind of forge?
In a sense, yes. It has been lost and buried here in this land. We're going to seek it. Ideally, use it once we've arrived.
The sorry, my mind is blanking at the moment. The who are the original gods? The
Primordials?
Primordials, yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry, my mind was just blanking for that.
Right, all good.
It was the Primordials that created the giants, correct? Was this one of their forges?
The Primordials were responsible for the giants, but the forge was not theirs. It was made from the hands of giants. Contrary to many other beliefs held by many of the newer races, the giants, aside from the Primordials, were the first creators. And he stops. The makers, the craftsmen.
Oh, yes, I see.
They
So,
were just
who
on
was
the different
No, go
side
ahead.
of
You could-
yeah. They were just on a different side of the war, and therefore were not given the credit for many of the advances that they were responsible for.
Martel gives a sympathetic look and says, I spent some time in the Feywild. They say similar. I understand the altering of histories. Who was the forge master? Who built this forge, then?
His name was Voltaire. A fire giant. Said to be the master crafter of the era during the Ruination. And was buried when the title bearers and the dragons came to finish it off. Said that he died buried with the forge.
Magic waste.
Truly is. The forge was built on this plane, and it was meant to help build great cities. Has a power that has not been seen in this world for a very long time. It was not sequestered away like the forge the smith uses. Doesn't halt the creativity of a whole people because one wishes to keep it to themselves.
It is a noble cause. Are there any among you who forges, but may be able to resurrect this,
A
should you find it?
gentle nod of the head, and then just a hand behind him as you're still walking. All of us are smiths. This is a pilgrimage to hopefully bring back a lost art, one that was buried with the giants of old. It is because of this we've formed the Hammer of Amaron, and we seek Voltaire's forge.
Hammer of... How do you spell Amaron? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is a worthy cause. May I ask why you would risk so much of your own lives to save the likes of us.
It is a philosophy shared amongst smiths. Something is broken. We have the talents and skills to fix it. We see a world that is broken. We have the talents and the skills, but not the materials or the resources. We are fixing part of that problem so we can help fix the larger ones.
Yeah, Martel nods and says, "Yes, I too believe the world is broken. Then I may hope with you that you have the talent and skill to fix it."
Perhaps not as much as we once had, since we have had to also become warriors in our time. We all long for a day that this armor and the weapons we carry will no longer be necessary. They are a very heavy burden for us to bear.
Yeah, Martel just smiles back and says, "Well, again, we do have a debt to your people. I would be saddened at the loss of my friends that you and your people have saved. For as long as we can, we will help bear that burden with you. We are capable warriors, though our ability to fix and rebuild is limited."
What exactly has brought you out to these barren lands? Why do you risk your beloved companions? And what is out here that is so valuable to you?
I said the world is broken. I believe there's something out here that will help me fix it. Though I cannot say for certain.
You've come on a quest not knowing what the end goal is.
She smiles. I know what the end goal is. I'm just not certain it will still be there.
A great risk to take for so much uncertainty.
Well, when the world is broken, those who can need to help fix.
I feel as if we were destined to meet this day. Feel our goals will be well aligned.
I hope so. From there, it'll probably just be more light talk.
Yeah, casual banter.
More regular banter. So you can move on to others.
All right. Anybody else?
You got most of the good information. Can we just be friendly and increase our attunement to them? That's not the right word.
They're not magical items, Kyle.
I know.
They're not objects. Treat them like people, please.
He reveals himself to be a bigot.
I think the word he was looking for was increase our affinity with them.
Yes, thank you.
Let's be honest. He's looking for a bond. Come on now.
I'm not, but I really like these guys, so I want them to be our friends, especially considering they're smiths and whatnot. Cool dudes.
I will say that from the beginning, Kyle has sought to always be friends.
Oh yeah.
With pretty much everybody.
Yeah, with pretty much everybody.
True.
Haspard does similar.
Stardew Valley lately or something?
After an who knows amount of time, when Lithian is still looking angry but willing to speak to other people.
Mhm.
She'll definitely go and do the fun asking of each of them of like, oh, what's the heaviest thing that you've lifted? Oh yeah, that's pretty heavy. What about
Well, it's funny. Many of them are like, they're pretty reserved or humble about it, like, except for one of them, which is Gamir, who is an absolute barrel of a Goliath. Because the man is just a gigantic tree trunk of a humanoid. Definitely easily the strongest out of the bunch. And it's also the fact that his armor is built to also accommodate a bit of his gut. And you could tell there's something about him because he's very competitive, where it's just like he starts with something and you go, oh yeah, I've lifted something heavier. And then he goes on to the next thing that was heavier than that. And you guys just kind of go back and forth for a bit. But he's enjoying himself doing this. He likes the push and pull. And eventually he stops. Well, he doesn't. He stops the back and forth as you guys are walking, and then just kind of looks at you. You want some ale?
I thought you'd never ask.
All right. He pulls a tankard off his belt. Lithian, just make me a charisma check. Or a nature check.
Oh, I'm not good at either of those.
No.
Hold on. See if one is better than the other.
I think one's slightly better.
Nope.
Hmm?
They're the
Never mind.
there. Ooh, and it's disadvantage. 8.
It's a really fancy tankard. Real fancy. It's a shiny polished metal. It's engraved with just like this beautiful line work that actually has a whole mural etched around the body of the tankard itself. But the thing that's funniest is that you didn't realize he's carrying a huge pack on him. The pack is like twice the size he is. It is unreasonable for someone to be carrying this. But you didn't realize you see him reach around and he grabs a tube that's tucked away in the bag and he whips it around and it's got a little spigot on the end and he turns it and he pours a frothy cup of ale into this mug and then hands it to you. And then he tucks the tube back behind him. Somewhere in all of that gear he's carrying, you think he's got a cask of ale.
That's amazing. I would look at him and go, once this is gone, would you like some whiskey?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right. I knew one of you had some common sense.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to keep them in line.
Mm. And the drink in question, I guess ale's maybe perhaps not quite accurate. It's a dark stout. I'm honestly stealing a tiny flavor profile from one of my players from a whiskey he made. Cause it's got a little bit of like butterscotch and a little bit of chocolate, and there's a tiny bit of like pine somewhere in there. It's strong, but it's very good.
That's actually more up Lithian's alley than just ale anyway, so.
Oh, nailed it. You were meant to be best friends.
She's fancier than just ale. Come on now, you know me.
And now it's just like the whole time you guys are trudging through the snow, I'd see you guys just occasionally exchanging mug and flask.
Yeah. I will definitely make sure to ask the origin of said drink.
Oh, he'll tell you he made it himself.
That's very good.
Not only are we smiths, but we have many other hobbies as well.
Well.
Father is a gardener. Nazor is a baker. Now is a sculptor. Well, I'm a brewer.
I think you have the best job.
Absolutely. I get to taste everything I make. And
Ah,
occasionally everything father makes.
have to make sure that Martel knows about that one. Yeah, at some point, Lithian will definitely make sure that she tells Martel, "Hey, that one bakes."
Yeah. Martel's happy to know the information. Just has no ingredients for him to bake.
Perfect. Me and Nazar can talk about baking and good pastries and whatnot.
Please ignore the typo on sculptor. Just a whole word, basically.
It was a good effort.
I was like halfway through and I was like, wait, no, that was all wrong, but I hit enter. Yeah.
Sounds like a medical tool.
Not wrong.
Mm.
But given everyone's kind of had their moments, Snow spending probably a bit slightly more dedicated amount of time helping the handmaiden keep following in a way that is not going to harm her or slow down the group. You'll eventually reach a point after about 2 hours more in this snow, luckily protected by this magical sphere of influence from Lhasa, where Lhasa has a moment where he stops. And Martel, you begin to feel the edges of your skin begin to tingle. And almost on the same beat, he turns and looks behind everybody. We have a surge coming. Everyone prepare yourselves. And that's where we're going to take our first break.
Go get some friends.
The dad phrase of the year.
Yeah. I've been doing the first break as like about a 10-minute breakish. So 5 minutes past the hour if you want to come back. That's about good. And again, if we're back beforehand, then we just we start. So everyone, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Something like that.
Power
Kind of up in the
outage.
air.
What? Ben,
Otherwise,
no.
For those of you here, thanks for watching and joining us. Good time so far. I'm just going to leave our roadmap open so we can kind of get a sight of what you guys are dealing with. We'll be right back.
That's not good. Poor Ben.
Oh, I didn't see his power outage thing. Owies.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm gonna take the bio break because I actually need it this time.
Bio break to the.
Hey, you're alive. Kind of, maybe. This time.
Hello. Anybody here?
I'm here.
Hooray. That was
Fun.
unexpected.
It's always a good time when your power just decides to stop.
Right? Right in the middle of CJ telling me something too.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
About the worst time for it to happen.
Yeah, I love when Discord fucks up for me in the middle of a conversation my character's participating in. Love it.
Right? Ugh. Terrible.
Yeah.
And I guess my apologies to everybody on Twitch. My power went out. I'm sorry. I have no
We're in
control
a
over
bar
it.
break.
Yeah.
It timed out so perfectly.
Hmm. Well, for you guys, maybe.
I'm so sorry.
Like I said, it was just right in the middle of CJ being like, Martel, your skin starts to tingle, and then boop, nothing.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Sorry, I didn't hear a ding when you dropped, I guess.
No.
Weird.
No, because your like thing stuck around longer than you did.
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't. Like,
basically-
I didn't drop out, the power went out. I didn't
Yeah.
leave the call, it just left me in there until such a time as it
I think
realized I
you
wasn't.
Just Lhasa called out wild magic surge. That's what you felt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I can live with that.
Nothing beyond that. Just we know it's surging and that's it. So-
Okay. All right.
Yay.
And depending on what happens, you just might never hear Lithian speak again.
Ugh.
Don't worry, it's gonna be ice going up this time instead of down.
Oh, good. Great.
Because yeah, he was talking about the two differences, right? Stalactite, stalagmite.
Yeah.
Yay for suddenly being on an ice mountain.
Well, I'd prefer an ice mountain to a lot of other things, which are almost certainly going to happen.
Yeah.
You mean
And
combat?
Well,
No, I just mean there's a lot of other stuff that wild magic can do that's much more detrimental than a mountain of ice. And I almost guarantee that CJ is thinking of one of those instead of a mountain of ice.
Yay, summon a Balrog.
do not manifest that.
If he was gonna do the Balrog, he should have done it first and then the crevasse. That's how it goes.
No, that's how you want it to go.
No, that's how the story goes. The Balrog, then the fall.
Oh, well, we can always run back the other way to bring it to the... Anyways.
True.
Who would be
Find
our
a little
Gandalf?
bridge.
Who's our Gandalf?
That's a good question.
I guess the Handmaiden.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
She'll just walk out of the mist later, be like, I've become the white. The white.
Oh. Man. I was explaining what we're doing and the last session to a friend of mine. And in explaining the handmaiden, I was like, I don't know, she's this stray that we adopted. I don't know anything about her. She does magic. That's all I got.
I mean, yeah, kinda.
And somehow she's still with us for some reason. Don't know why. Still figuring that out. It'll be fine.
Martell has literally been called princess by a god. If she wants a handmaiden at this point, Hasvard is like, you know what? That's cool. Yeah, fine. Like, everyone else has sloughed off that whole god bit where Tyrion's just like, yeah, my princess, my darling sweet girl. What are you doing with these weird people? And Hasvard's like, what? Why are we being weird people? She has a handmaiden. It's fine. She's with a god. It makes sense.
We're gonna find out in 2 sessions that Tyrek sent her. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Well, our DM is far away, not hearing us plot and plan what's happening.
Or speculate.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
that's a better word.
I don't know. Shoot. There's something. Who knows?
Who knows?
Accepting random strangers into our party has never caused us problems, right, Kyle?
No, of course not. My current character knows nothing of what you speak of. Guides are completely trustworthy, and if you give them money, they will do their job.
Huh?
Yeah, okay. That
Mhm.
sounds like
That's how the world works.
That's how it works, guys. If the robot voice didn't tell you different, then that's on you.
Yeah, it's good to know that all of your characters are too trusting.
Hey,
Oh,
excuse me, I pulled 3 people aside and say, let's not trust these people.
Yes, the 3
One of
people
them
we
is the
pulled-
person that you don't trust.
Yep. Mhm.
Well, see, here's the thing. We also only paying Snow. You think I trust her? No.
I mean, in Snow's defense, she's been completely honest and upfront with you that if you guys get in over your head, she's going to leave you all to die.
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah, I respect the crap out of it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I completely understand that. I don't trust her though. Like I wouldn't tell her my family secrets, you know?
I mean, that's fair. You trust her to do her job,
Yeah.
but that's about it, because that's all you expect.
Yep. I really hope that we get to the rest so that we can see Anti-Magic Martell soon.
Oh,
I've
let's
also
see.
been thinking about wild magic Martell. I'm like, anti-magic is drunk. Is wild magic like cocaine?
I think so, honestly.
What about Adderall? Like, come on now.
But we're about to find out. Is everyone here?
Mm-hmm. Wait, Tim?
Aye.
Yep.
Perfect. Then we will continue. Lhasa just delivered the warning of a surge of wild magic. This is an important question, but I don't think any of you can possibly get away from it. Is anyone not carrying anything magical on them? Or not magical in nature?
I don't know what magic is.
Exactly.
Martell is literally made of it.
Yep. Aren't we all just really made up of magic?
Okay, Walt Disney.
Magic. All right. Well, this is going to be interesting then. As Lhasa bellows the warning, you see all of the Goliaths, with their hands, reach for different parts of their armor, and you watch as the runes they hover over begin to glow in response, until about a quarter of their armors are lit up. And then you watch as this protective bubble that Lhasa was keeping around you to hold back the weather pops and begins all the snow and the wind begins to flow back in. Until you see another wave of energy. It's only perceptible because of the way the snowflakes move in response to it. It is nearly invisible, but the snowflakes, instead of just being blown about by the wind, begin almost vibrating in place where they were, and then you see it as the snow begins moving again, and the vibrating snowflakes keep getting closer and closer. And it just looks like, when you sort of observe it, it seems almost like an enormous wall, kind of like the wall of sand from the Mummy. It's just huge and all-encompassing. I want everyone, this is going to be real fun, to roll a D100.
Okay. I will use my snow-like dice for this. So it'll be good luck, right?
82 for Martell.
$69 for Tajira.
67 for Hazard.
Lithium?
I rolled a 1.
Wait.
Come on.
I rolled a fucking
kidding.
1.
And
No, I wish I was
Banus
kidding. I
swallows you
rolled
all. And you all die.
No, we all turn into squirrels and go back in time.
You were secretly all the squirrels you met along the way.
Uh-huh.
They know more than you want them to.
They all actually do, yes. in weird twists of fate, that statement's very true. Well, don't feel bad. Somebody rolled a 2.
Yeah.
All right, someone rolled a 7.
All right.
Oh.
All right, someone rolled a 100.
All right. Okay.
Oh, I mean, don't assume
Matt.
any of these. Don't assume any of these are good. This is wild magic.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
It's a table.
Oh yeah, and it's a 1 to 100 table. It is not the puny little I burp bubbles for an hour wild magic table from the PHP. No. This is much juicier. Oh look! Wow! Holy crap! Another 100.
Ooh.
High
200
dice.
to 81?
And an 89.
Hey, at least this one roll wasn't at the end of the fucking long rest.
All right. So this wild magic rolls over everybody,
Think about what you've done.
and you feel the edges of your skin begin to prickle, as if being close to a source of electricity. Hair stands up on end. Everything kind of just tingles as the magic washes over you and leaves with you an effect of some kind. Some of you, maybe for better or worse. In Martell's instance, you probably won't see the benefits of this. For 1 minute, any spell with a casting time of 1 action can be cast as a bonus action.
Wonderful.
Would be really great in a fight.
Oh, yeah. And, if I cast spells.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna bump Lithium back to the bottom of the list real quick.
Minor
I'm
detail.
just gonna go do everyone else. Because
Oh,
when I get to Lithian, we're gonna have to figure out marching order and who was next to who.
Oh.
Tajira was already nervous about this.
As you should have been.
Well, she kind of knows what happens when magic goes crazy.
Asvard.
Yeah.
As the magic rolls over you, you kind of watch as a thin sheen kind of like rolls along the edges of your fingers and your arms, over your head and neck and body, and then eventually it all kind of like rolls off of you as a vapor, and then takes the shape and the form of a broadsword etched in magical runes.
Ooh.
And it seems to just hover nearby you. For the next minute, or no, rather, until the next shorter long rest, you gain the services of Mordekainen's sword. Or which would be renamed something not Mordenkainen, because Mordenkainen. While he technically does exist in my setting, this spell would not have been made by. Go look up the spell so you know what it does. But you have the service of it until you take a rest. Which is actually really good.
How do you spell Mordekainen's?
Mordekainin.
Morty. Morty's
Tajira,
sword.
you aren't far from here.
Oh dear.
From Tajira, a almost imperceptible shockwave of purple virulent magic ripples outwards. And we're gonna have to figure out marching order for you too.
Oh boy.
As all allies within 20 feet of you suffer a -2 to attack and to damage for any melee attacks they make for an hour.
Hi, Lithian.
Let's see. Oh wow, that one's really convenient. The handmaiden rolled a 2. You want to know what a 2 is? You recover all your expended spell slots.
Oh, that's nice. Hooray for the handmaiden.
Yeah, it's like she's blind, but suddenly she's just pulsing with magic. I can't see, but I can fight. And a lot of these are just real goofy. Again, Snow's also marching order matters. Just gonna make notes for all of these. We got the 2-100 boys, which I'll just kind of get out of the way together. Oh, that one's funny. That one's real funny. You guys probably aren't gonna see. You guys probably aren't going to see any results of that right away. Let's see, 42.
Life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, man. Okay, a lot of these really matter. Marching order really need. Okay, 22. Oh, that one's really cool. Fodder. For the next day, has advantage on the next 2d6 rolls he makes, if he doesn't already have advantage. On the next 8 rolls.
Damn.
Good.
Yeah, actually pretty good. That's 22, and then Lhasa, who rolled an 89. Oh. That is not a short-lasting one at all. All right. Wow, this is a big one. I need everybody to make a wisdom save.
It's 15.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and spend the 2 points to automatically succeed.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree with
Was
you.
not good enough, and my wisdom is bad.
I'm gonna spend the 2 points as well because I'm right there with you, Ben.
All right.
Okay. So 2 automatic successes. Those are good to have.
21.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice.
You switch dice.
I'm now rolling this d20 for everything now. It rolled a 9.
Just roll for all the boys and girls now. Who, for some odd reason, are just going to absolutely crush this. They rolled 2 natural 20s to open with that. All right. Surprisingly enough, there are 2 people affected by this. Lhasa has a small pulse of white magic ripple outwards from him, and everyone, you feel your minds affected by something, and your eyes are just sort of locked onto Lhasa himself. And there is this urge initially to, when you see him, immediately want to leave his presence. But you all manage to shake it off except for 2 of you, which is Tajira and the Handmaiden.
Goodbye.
You are frightened of Lhasa. And you remain frightened for as long as you can see him. Or while you're within 60 feet of him.
So the handmaiden is unaffected, but within 60 feet.
Yeah. Yep. That all turned out interesting. For the record, he is under the effects of the antipathy. My brain can't actually say the word.
Antipathy?
Yes, thank you. Antipathy. Effect of the antipathy/sympathy spell.
No.
But
Cool.
good news is, most of you are unaffected. Most. All right, now for the nitty-gritty. We need to get a marching order roughly assembled. So we can figure out how some of these AoE effects have kicked off.
Out loud. Stupid snapping.
I'm gonna kind of order these according to who was talking to who.
Martel was serious about keeping the handmaiden close and helping her through while she's blind. Also, because the handmaiden was like, I'll listen for deception. I imagine that Martel and the handmaiden were up by Lhasa.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense.
That's who we were talking to.
The GM also said that Snow was helping with the handmaiden. So if Snow's right behind you with the handmaiden, you're keeping her close, and that still makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm assuming Lhasa's this one. So Martel's probably here, and then the handmaiden and Snow are probably somewhere nearby.
Yeah, after the fact, we'll settle it after the last thing is resolved. But, yeah, you guys would have been further up, given you were walking with Lhasa. And then
I like all these pictures. I don't know where you find these pictures for your tokens, but those are good.
I spend a lot of time Googling, and on Pinterest boards, and on Reddit, and all over the place. There's a lot of wonderful art.
Fair enough.
And then sometimes I will edit pictures. Like I said, otherwise, I've sort of moved people according to where I think they would be in the direction.
And so I would have been towards the back with beard dude.
Yep. And Tajira would have been near fodder because they were having a storytelling bit.
Looks about right to me.
Yep. And the group probably would be stretched out over about like 40 feet or so. Like a reasonable line. Like there's probably like 5 to 10 feet gaps between respective people.
Okay. Makes sense.
In which case, the good news is Lithian's problem only drags 4 people into it. Which still isn't great news.
What's my problem? Just tell me.
Well, I need both Tajira and Lithian, along with Fodder and Gamir, to make dexterity saves.
You're kidding me.
No.
Yay, I got 16. Kind of consistent.
– 14.
Okay. All right. So 3 failures and 1 success. I'm just gonna go grab the dice roller here.
God.
I'm just gonna plug this number in real quick.
Goodbye. It was nice playing with y'all.
I don't know. I doubt it will kill you.
Well,
Barbarian.
It might not outright kill me, but Lithian
Oh.
may just die of shame.
That's a good number of ones I'm seeing there.
Yeah. Could have been much worse. As the wave ripples over everyone, Lithian, you feel your core somewhere inside of you become very warm, and then it continues to escalate until you feel like you are burning from the inside out. And eventually the energy gathers and becomes so great it ripples outward from you and explodes. Consuming Tajira, Fodder, and Gamir in the process. If you failed, you take 39 points of damage. Given that you both did, take 39 points of fire damage. Fodder, fortunately enough, is an Elder Goliath, so he is fire resistant. He's just gonna take that in stride. And Gamir succeeded, so he'll also take
Tajira is knocked out.
Oh no.
But wait, there's more.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna go through all the effects because these all happen simultaneously. The front of the column, which would include Lhasa, Now, Snow, the Handmaiden, and Martel, you were all consumed in a cloud of pitch black darkness. The rest of you, from that column back, including Hasvard, and for a brief moment, conscious Tajira and Lithian, you watch as the front column is just like a squid shooting a cloud of ink in the water, just suddenly just a big cloud of black, eating up the front half of the column.
Good news is I'm not afraid anymore.
This is while fire is shooting out of my eyes, right?
Yeah, more like your pores exploding, like just with fire. All right. Not that this one mattered as much. Black inkiness. Hasvard and Azor would notice this. The others are being blinded by darkness currently. You watch as a sheen of protective magic covers your skin. You receive +2 AC until you take a long rest.
I get +2 AC? Oh man, this is great!
Yeah, until you take a long rest.
Yeah, I know, I realize. I was being...
Wild magic conferring permanent bonuses? Crazy. Wait until you roll you lose 2d6 intelligence number. And then, of course, wisdom, strength, charisma. They're all in there.
As long as it's temporary.
I never said
I would love for one of those effects to be all of the effects happen at the same time.
So you want to get feeble-minded? Is that what I'm hearing? Because that's how you get feeble-minded.
Are we sure we want to go through 3 more of these wild magic things?
That being said, all of those effects, they happen all at the snap of a finger. It just ripples across all of you. And they just, darkness cloud, fireball, protective magic, everything just occurs all at once. There are a couple of moments of, reacting to what's happening. Is there anything anyone wants to do in particular? Like, as in, like, the first 6 seconds of doing something after this has occurred?
Pretty sure I can't react.
Phew. That was
You are
close.
unconscious.
Martel is just trying to stumble forward as she says to the handmaiden and Snow, I think we all became blind.
It's darkness. It's a cloud.
And the darkness
will
cloud will be dispelled.
shove a level 1 healing potion into Tajira's face.
Okay.
We have a medic. She is blind. We have-
Well,
Blinks.
she's on the ground, so I'm gonna get her up.
What just happened? Did something explode?
I think I did.
She thinks, we must be in the magic field.
There's okay.
Yeah.
This is aside. She knows it's an chaotic magic field, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys know there's wild magic.
Yeah. Okay. She'll stand up and dust herself off. How much HP did that give me?
It was a level 1 healing potion.
Yeah.
So 1d6 plus your con mod.
Oh, that's a 1.
Nice.
Is your con mod higher than 1?
It's 3.
Okay. So
You get 4
need
HP back.
She looks very, very bad.
It's so squishy. God.
To be fair, I did not expect you to explode.
I didn't expect me to explode either. I certainly hope it doesn't happen again.
Yes, maybe I shall step over here.
You walk 20 feet away.
So the black cloud's gone, right?
Mm-hmm. It was dispelled. By whom, you were uncertain, but there appear to be at least a couple of spellcasters in the front chunk of the group.
So I'm not feared anymore, right?
No, you are. That effect wasn't dispelled.
What?
Matter of fact,
Who's she afraid of?
Lhasa, the gentleman with the hood. And you're under the effect for 11 days, or until it is dispelled.
It's not dispelled by. Okay.
Dispelled by what?
Falling unconscious.
No, absolutely not.
But I am afraid I really do not trust the man leading us anymore.
Okay, why?
He was leading us into this.
I don't
cannot
think
be
that
trusted.
he had a choice. The handmaiden is also frightened, isn't she?
Yeah. She's currently gripping onto your arm, Martel, and is whispering to you that she does not like being this close to Lhasa. Something about him unnerves her.
I mean, Martel's not cruel. She'd be like, well, then perhaps we should get some distance. And she'll just turn to Lhasa and say, my apologies, my companion is a bit uneasy. We're going to take a bit of a walk.
Very well. Stay close. There might be another wave or two. We'll deal with the side effects when we rest.
Lithian will offer Tajira an arm to hold on to.
It's my understanding that you can't advance towards someone you're feared.
Cannot willingly do so.
Yes.
So she's staying here.
Lithium, could you carry her?
I mean, I could, but I don't understand what's happening.
I will not go closer to that man.
Do you have any idea what's going on with her?
So can I roll an investigation on the fact that we had a magic wave and now she suddenly doesn't like someone and it's very plausible that it's a magical situation?
Don't even need to roll an investigation check. You just figured it out, Chief.
Well, I know.
I was going to say, Martel's very familiar with the fear spell as well as she's moving back. She'd just say, believe it is the effects of the fear spell.
And there's a wisdom check, right? Or is that...
You failed it.
Well, yes, there was a wisdom save, which you originally failed, and the effect will persist. There is a condition that does allow you to make a wisdom save. However, you are not currently meeting it.
Okay.
That being said, Lhasa, after Martel's elected to continue on moving, he just does a brief check-in with all the other members of the Hammer, and then once they all give okay signals, they begin moving forward. And since Tajira will not willingly move closer, given the length of the column, they'll get a little bit further ahead, and then when he's 60 feet away from you, and you're outside of that sphere of influence for a long enough moment, you can make another wisdom save.
Yay! Okay, that one is a 19.
Okay. You will succeed. The effect you feel of your distrust for him will slowly begin to fade away, and more rational thoughts will come back.
I'm sure she knows about the fear spell as well.
Except it wasn't a fear spell. You do know the thoughts that were being forced onto you were a magical effect. It was not.
Okay.
That was just Martel's best guess. Because she's familiar with the fear spell.
Mm-hmm. This was like super.
Yeah, I mean, again, Martel's best guess, she's going to keep moving the handmaiden away until she feels comfortable.
About 60 feet. But she's, unlike Tajiro, she still remains cautious of him. She did not make her save.
Well, again, until she feels better, Martel will not come closer.
The march will continue. Two members of the Hammer are a little less talkative than they were before, which is Gimir and Nazor. They'll kind of give like sounds of affirmation or decline, but they're speaking much less than they were before. Why?
Some kind of wild magic is why.
Probably.
Lithian will just wordlessly offer some whiskey and nod and understanding.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
understanding. Yeah.
It's just a quiet exchange.
Yeah.
Like the rapport doesn't alter whatsoever. It's just quieter.
Cool.
Start talking up. What was her name? Her name was Now. Right? Now is the girl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Find out about where they've pilgrimaged before, if they have, and if they've been in this zone before, and just that random stuff. Anyways. Because now Nofri doesn't want to talk to me.
Well, again, the short version They've been on a pilgrimage for the better part of 10 years now. There are 4 holy sites that they need to visit, 3 of which they've been to. They're heading to the 4th one currently. Prior to the pilgrimage, they spent another 10 years preparing for the pilgrimage, which includes crafting their armor and weapons, and gathering an abundance of materials and goods to prepare themselves for the dangers of the areas they were going to be wandering.
Cool. I would also ask about like where those 3 other locations were, and if they think the forge is actually in the Blazing City or not.
No, it is not likely that it is inside the city. It is buried deep beneath the ice. There is a landmark that we're looking for. We've referred to it as the Allmaker's Anvil, but it's mostly a cute name. It just looks like it takes the shape of an anvil. It is somewhere beneath there. We're going to have to dig through ice and rock to find it. The other places were no less easy than this place. We came from Silgaris, which if you've heard any news from there, it's overrun by undead. Even the hunters' soldiers have given up on the continent for now, and have finally withdrawn. We fought through hordes of monsters and creatures that would peel skin off of sleeping children if they given an opportunity. But we managed to find our way down into the recesses of the nether layer beneath there, and made it to our place of worship. Before that, it was Cerulean, at the heart of a volcano, where there was a primeval fire elemental waiting for us. We were fortunate enough that, due to our lineage and our history, we were able to communicate with it and avoid what would have been surely a terrible altercation.
So it's still there.
Of course. It is its place where it belongs. Or are we to remove it? Who knows the effects it could have on the volcano and then the surrounding lands if we were to destroy it.
Valid. There's always repercussions to one's actions.
Correct. And the place that we first visited is a land known as Zaldin on the continent of Runan. Said none have ever made it beyond its walls or onto its shores, but we did. Between you and me, and those here, I suppose, what's beyond the walls is the last bastion homeland of the ancient clans of the giants. At least it was for a time. None of the giants survived. It's quite sad. What was once a glorious city is now just a graveyard.
Wow.
Here we are. Heading to the forge.
Well, we'll forge on ahead, and I hope we find it.
You just make a pun of our religion.
I apologize. That's very, very inappropriate, I suppose.
No, it's quite funny. You're alright. I'm just not very good at expressing myself. It's part of my unfortunate bloodline I come from. Spent all my life trying to not be like all of the giants in which I am modeled after, which are tricksters and liars. I assure you I am smiling inwardly.
I believe you. I have no reason to not trust you. And we continue on.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're gonna have just a tiny little loosey-goosey skill challenge. Which is, I want everyone to pick a skill that they are proficient in that they think might help them identify an incoming wave of wild magic.
That sounds like an
and
investigation.
I'm willing to be convinced if you can tell me why a skill proficiency would be good for something.
Can I use my persuasion?
Are you going to talk to the land?
I was talking about on you.
No. You now have disadvantage on your roll. I'm kidding.
Can I use our last experience as a way to investigate and be like, hey, this happened in the snow last time when it happened. Maybe this is what happens when it happens. I don't know.
My petition is a survival check.
Okay.
I am going to petition for a perception check, but for Martel's special kind, because she is going to be watching the people and how they're acting and reacting. As magic seems to flow through everybody, she is going to try and watch any differences in their behavior.
Okay.
And check for oncoming wild magic.
I believe there were environmental effects the last time that one of these hit, so that is why I was going to use the survival check.
I was also going to go perception, but on the and my nice tigress way of hearing and smelling different.
Okay. I'll take it. Given that both you and Martel's types of perceptions are wildly different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Hazard, if you want to do an investigation check, I'm okay with that. Relying on the past experience you just had and trying to pick out little details that'll help you identify things in the future is a good task. So, each of you, please, give me your roll.
26.
26? 24?
25 for Martel.
With disadvantage, I got 11.
23.
Okay. You continue onward under the protection of another sphere of magic conjured by Lhasa that repels the snow and the wind. And after about an additional 2 hours of hiking, Martel, you observe, particularly on the group of Goliaths, that there are segments of their armor, the runes, that are not activated, that very, very subtly flicker. Like something unusually magical is whispering in the air and affecting the magic etched into their armor. Lithian,
Okay.
there is actually a drastic change in the smell in the air. What is normally just cold ice, this frigid tundra. It's so hard to describe because of how unusual and wild of an experience it is. The best way to describe it really is, it's like there is a kaleidoscope of scents striking your nose. You think you smell dandelions. You think you smell fresh baked bread. You think you smell the iron tinge of blood. You think you smell the salt of seawater. And it goes through about 20 or 25 different permutations of scents and just over the course of just seconds. And it's so much overwhelming olfactory sensation that you get like lightheaded for a moment.
Well, since Martel is about 60 feet away from Lassa, 20 feet behind the person in last place here, she's really only going to be able to communicate with the handmaiden. And Martel will say, "Wild magic is coming. I do not know enough to help, but brace yourself."
Tajira would have caught up with Lithian again, so unfortunately she's but with them.
Lithian will say basically as loud as she can over whatever storm is happening. I think it's happening again.
Just make a con check for me. I just want to see how much Lithian can project.
Pretty well. 24.
That is very well, yes.
Wait, hold on. That's a lie. It's not a con save.
That's a check.
It's a check. 19.
Still pretty good though. You still managed to bellow it out despite the winds that are howling outside of the bubble. And just like before, you watch all the Goliaths sort of react. Various runes on their armor spark to life. But now that you have been warned, you now get to make saves against the effects. Everyone, please make a charisma saving throw.
I'm actually fine at these.
I'm not.
$22.
Success.
I got a 15.
I'm sorry, did you say you got a 13?
1-5. 15.
15. Okay.
Rolled a 19, and it's a 22.
Are you a ghost?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
He might be.
Ah!
I assume it will be, probably.
Modified 20 for Martel.
Okay, Martel's good. Success.
Not allowed to have anything but 14. 14 is the only thing I can roll for today.
We're gonna kill each other. Or rather, you're probably just gonna kill me.
I mean, just stop rolling ones.
I'm gonna try. They're in dice jail. I'm not rolling them again.
Well, this is kind of a comedy of errors. Literally everyone else succeeded but you two.
Yeah.
So both of you roll another pair of D100s, please.
All right, you fuckers.
Hey, watch it.
Well, that's better.
Is it?
No.
High or low doesn't mean anything on this table.
I rolled a 69 again.
Well, they're still going to dice jail, but it's better than the 1. I rolled a 3.
Hooray!
All right, well, Tajira, you continue to ruin people's day, especially Lithian and Gimir, who now suffer an additional -2 to their attack and damage rolls with melee attacks, making a total of -4 for the next hour. I guess, well, actually, no, I guess the first one did wear off. You guys have been hiking, so your strength would have returned, but now it's happening again.
-2 on what rolls? Sorry.
Attack and damage rolls with melee attacks.
Okay.
Although I highly suspect it will wear off by the time you guys get to your rest point.
Yeah.
But the important thing, and the one that is the one that's going to stick, Lithian, you go deaf.
Oh!
You suddenly hear nothing but ringing, and then eventually the ringing dims down to nothingness. You've lost your ability to hear.
What with the ring? She'll likely, in response to that, just kind of hunker down for a second, hands over ears, trying to figure out what's going on. And then, as it subsides and she starts to, stand up, regain presence, and realize can't hear anything.
Yeah, Tiziota's like
She'll start like
trying to
smacking
talk.
Tajira's arm. What was that?
What did you say?
I said she's gonna start like smacking Tajira's arm, not in like a attack way, but in a like, oh my god, something's wrong way.
Tiziota looks like if you hit her the wrong way, she will stay down. And she looks like she's bleeding, man. She's like limping along and trying to figure out if you're okay. And like you see her trying to talk to you, and then she finally reverts to talking to you in your head. I don't know.
Which you can't respond to in your head.
Nope.
So what did you say to me?
Well, she does have message as well, so.
What did you say? Did you say anything in my head?
CJ, can she respond to a message if she's deaf?
Yes.
Awesome. So she'll message and say, "Are you okay?"
And she will out loud respond to you. No, I don't know how you did that. I can't hear anything. I don't know how I guess magic bullshit. I can't hear anything.
I guess she doesn't have to message. She can just use her psychic. Anyways. That is not good. I hope it will go away after a rest. The effects before wore off. Perhaps this will go away.
For the record, handmaiden still blind. Just thought I'd point that out so you guys have a point of comparison.
It better go away. I can't live like this. I rely so much on being able to hear things.
Tizita will actually just like take her by the arm so that anything audible she'll be able to help her with.
Another even more quiet, one might say, completely mute passing of the tankard to Lithian.
She will drink it all in one go.
Yeah, it's just more silence. It's like
Mhm.
Oh, not that she could tell any different.
After there is a brief check done over of everybody.
Oh, Tizita will also inform her friends that Lithian is deaf.
Important. It will be passed down from the front, from Lhasa. You hear from Fodder that we'll take care of her when we come to our rest. Lhasa can fix that.
And she'll tell Lithian. And they say they can fix it.
That's good. I imagine that like everything Lithian is saying is being screamed.
God!
Great! Thanks! Have you always been able to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had a reason to use it very often at the moment.
Yeah. Still weird having somebody in my head. But I'm glad you can speak to me. It's so lonely.
I am not in your head. She sounds very awkward when you say that you're lonely very loud.
I'm so lonely. I just like to think everyone turns around at that for a brief second.
She's like,
I'm glad you're in my head. I'm so lonely.
I mean, given like generally like how much of her sense of like the world around her comes from her hearing, she's like going through the 5 stages of grief right now.
Listen, Tito's trying to be comforting while still looking around and being like, she will be okay.
At least Tajira is not going to bear the brunt of the anger phase.
Oh, Lithian has a lot of pent-up anger. Somebody's gonna have to deal with it soon.
Well, the good news is the travel continues on after everyone is checked out and more or less everyone's still functional enough to keep traveling. When darkness finally grips and the snowstorm relents enough that you can just barely peek parts of the night sky, you reach this large cliff that just looks out over this enormous stretch of open white land in front of you. And visibly, you can see that there are just these pulsing waves of magical energy rippling back and forth across. Lhasa stops and turns about. This is where we'll set up camp.
What? Sorry.
No, it was good. It was good. Just Lhasa didn't find it funny. Those of you traveling with us, you are welcome to stay with us. Snow is just kind of like leaning up to Martel. Just, this is not a good place to stay. No cover. There's a cave not too far from here we can go to. Don't know why they'd insist on staying out here.
Martel nods. That does seem like wisdom. I will inform the others.
Does he go to
kind of pass the handmaiden's hand to Snow because the handmaiden still doesn't want to get close to.
She actually kind of at that point, you realize she will reveal to you that she's actually okay with it now. She tells you that the magical effect that was preventing her from getting closer to Lhasa has finally worn.
Okay. Then, yeah, Martel will continue to have the handmaiden with her then, as she goes up to tell her companions, and then she will also, not to the others, I mean, she'll tell Tajira, and then she'll try to tell Lithian, and then she'll try again, and then she'll try again, and then she'll do hand signals, and then she'll just realize that Lithian can't speak, thieves can't, with their hands. Few people can. And Martel just be like, somebody else tell her.
So that will be the point where you'll see her like just as close to tears as you'll ever see her.
Yeah. Aww.
And they're freezing on her face. It's actually it's painful. You see like, you know, the glassy eyes as the tears start to well up and then they start freezing around the edges.
Martel does an interpretive dance.
There we go.
About the cave.
Tita is there translating.
No, I know.
For her.
I'm just joking.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's pretty sad. Which one of the Goliaths said that they would help her?
Well, Father said Lhasa would take care of it. They're the leader.
So she'll tell Lithian and then go with her to him to maybe communicate.
Yeah. Martel does not tell the other Goliaths about the cave. She just goes straight to Lhasa and says, our guide says there's a cave not too far from here, some shelter. Is there a reason you're stopping here, or did you just not know about the cave?
You guys approach him as he's currently with the end of his he carries with him this maul that is attached to a staff, and he's currently drawing in the snow. He's just dragging the butt end of it through the snow, drawing like a line through it in a progressively working his way around and drawing a perimeter. And just very absent-mindedly just goes, "No, I was unaware of the cave, because the cave is unnecessary. We don't need the shelter. I'm making ours. As I have previously stated, we've invited you to rest with us for the night, if you prefer it."
Yeah, this was because Hasvar just appears beside you. This is kind of what I wanted to ask after, well, Snow told you about that. Is you seem very competent in your safety in this area. I don't see why we would separate. Like, do we need more walls? Because if I'm wrong, you're making a hut of some kind, correct?
You're wrong.
Oh.
I'm making a temple.
Oh.
Mm.
Then I only have one more question. Will it stand against the wild magic, the anti-magic, the things that crawl around in this area?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Then we'll
Is
camp with you
unaffected
tonight.
by those magics. Likewise, unaffected by anti-magic and things that would destroy it.
Then we thank you, and we will camp with you tonight. I will go inform our guide. Unless Snow was with us, in which case Martel would assume that Snow heard.
No, Snow is nearby, like waiting for you to deliver the news so you guys can skedaddle.
Yeah. Then yeah, she'll say that and start heading off.
While Lhasa continues his somewhat ornate snow drawing that he's working on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think somebody was saying nearby Martel that Lhasa can help Lithian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that information Martel does not have? Okay. Then Martel, as she's walking towards Snow, will say to the handmaiden very quietly, would you like help with your eyes, or would you prefer to not be touched by them until more trust is established?
If you think they can be trusted, then I will accept the aid. Otherwise, I also believe, waiting for a period of time, my sight will return to me.
Martel shakes her head and then realizes she can't see that and says, no, I do not trust them. I will not until, well, possibly ever. But if the blindness is a struggle, I will not stop you. And then she'll get to Snow. See?
Mm-hmm.
They're erecting a barrier. I feel that, or I guess Lhasa said building a temple, and then just shrugs. I said that we'll be staying with them for the night. It is easier to spring traps early than late.
If you think it's wise to stay with the zealots, so be it.
It's wiser than leaving them.
Strength in numbers and all that?
She just kind of nods. Yes, and here I know where they are.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Very well, we'll wait. Do we know how long it's going to take for this shelter?
Tilda shakes her head. I had the feeling Lasso was busy and concentrating. I did not press.
I'm sure one of the other ones know. We can go pester one of them.
Well, Yeah, I mean, we don't have to play it out. Martel just asked one of the other ones how long it'll take, and then
Yeah,
inform Snow.
It'll be about an hour.
All right, she says as much.
In which case, Snow says that they are going to go do some scouting. Just kind of go form a perimeter, see what's in the area, if there's anything of interest or, danger that might be worth noting. In the interim, the other Goliaths that aren't Lhasa set down all of their packs, and they set up a small area where they build, between the four of them, a small constructed metal cage. And then from Gamir's pack, his very large pack, they pull from it a bright glowing blue stone that they affix in the middle. And then one of them taps one of the runes etched into the metal cage, and the crystal in the middle ignites with blue fire. And they stand around it to warm themselves while they wait for Lhasa to do his work. Funnily enough, Gamir and Nazor are still quiet. They're sort of standing in the circle next to each other, and they're kind of whispering to each other, but they're not talking a whole heck of a lot. Whereas Fodder and Now are still, very openly engaging in any conversation that anyone pulls up with them.
Oh man, I'd really love to be able to overhear what they're whispering.
I chose what to have my focus on, and unfortunately, it's not them having a conversation.
Nope, you're watching a man draw in the snow.
Yep. And I have a plan for it. Plans.
An hour is going to pass. Is there anything anyone wants to do? Anyone want to talk about something?
Tizita's nursing her wounds.
Seeing two of them whisper secretly together, Martel is going to kind of wander around the camp for an hour, nonchalantly, but very much guiding the handmaiden to places where she might be able to hear what conversations are being had.
All right, like I said, all the Goliaths are standing together in a circle around their fire, so it's like they're not even establishing a camp. They're just waiting for Lhasa to finish his work.
Then yeah, Martel will, one, to keep up appearances of being normal, stand by the fire as well, and also the handmaiden can A, be warmer, and B, listen.
Okay. We don't roll those.
Yes. Someone who knows what Martel can.
All right. Well, something about losing her sight has sharpened some of the other handmaiden senses. So just kind of sitting there for a while, the handmaiden has her eyes closed, her hands are extended out towards the blue fire, and is keeping herself warm. After a long moment, though, she will lean into you, Martel, and whisper into your ear in such a manner that it is obvious she has done quite a lot of deception work, passing information along without allowing other people to hear. And she goes, seems they're speaking of their current discomfort in the state that the wild magic has left both of them in. They are eagerly awaiting for their chieftain to reverse the magic and the curse that they've currently been placed under. From my understanding, it has something to do with their genitals.
Martel is a calm person and would not giggle, although she feels the giggles. I'm gonna say, Oh, I have met some so afflicted. So long as there is no plotting in it.
Not
Just
nearly as
kinda
I can tell. Nothing that concerns us, at least.
Remain quietly smiling beside the handmaiden. If I am to repay some gratitude with, I will avoid them.
From what I gather, it's not virulent. It's a... The handmaiden stops to just sort of figure out a way to phrase it properly. Some of their equipment is missing.
At this, Martel does slightly giggle. Then I'm sure they'd appreciate me not trying for the moment.
Anyone
I'll
else?
offer a dance later.
Anyone else? Campfire talk? Anything?
Lithian will ask Tajira to tell her stories.
And she will oblige. It'd be weird having stories read to you in your head.
Yeah.
Lithian is lonely. She's never taken an interest in stories.
We all cope in different ways. Tim, you don't have to tell us any stories, but can you give us like one-word summations of like maybe one or two stories Tajira would tell Lithian?
She'd tell her the children's fairy tale that Sarah gave her.
Okay.
An
oldie buddy.
And she'd go back to the time or about the stone Goliath that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. And then there was one other tale. I don't think I named it. It's in my book though. Of the. It's basically the Little Mermaid, except the actual version from Grimm's fairy tales.
Right, so horrific. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the terrible one where...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ending of the cabin in the woods. Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Nope. And I'll bet that after that, she'd probably ask for no more stories.
Hey, it's Lithian.
Oh, she might enjoy it. That's true.
You find while you're telling her the stories, she's just, like sharpening the edge of the blade of her axe.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of nodding along,
Mm-hmm.
but no other reaction that you see. And just appreciate.
Focus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's worth mentioning, I don't know if you've read it or seen it, Kara, but the first story that Tim mentioned is a story that Kayla's wrote. That is a story based off of the Hunters before they split. It's a story of an old man who is so lonely that he splits himself into two so that way he has a friend. It's a children's story. It's kind of sad, but also very happy at some point. I'll have Kayla send it to you.
Okay, cool.
In which case, after about an hour, with Hasvard incessantly following Lhasa around as he's doing his etchings, he will have a roughly 120 foot by 120 foot building drawn, which includes bits and pieces of the interior. And then in between all of the basic geometric shapes, he's stopped and carved in them just these almost impossibly intricate lines that create this creates this amazing weaving pattern. And then he walks towards where you would have established the door is, and he'll stand before it, and the symbol affixed to the front of his plate armor which is in the shape of just a singular hammer, flat on both sides. It's very simple. It will begin to glow, and then he'll stamp his staff into the ground, and then just almost growing out of the snow itself is this enormous metal-clad building that is decorated in a lot of the same symbol work that he spent carving into the snow. It grows to about 6 stories. And it just has a set of huge 3-story metal gates on the front. There is a replica of the holy symbol above the door. And you can tell there are just wrapping around windows all the way around on every floor. It is pillared at the top at 6 points, 3 along the sides, and then this huge, well, I guess it's not huge, but it's this raised, just elongated tower at the top. That's about an additional 2 stories high. And then he just immediately walks in like Aragorn from, Lord of the Rings when they're at Helm's Deep. He just pushes the doors open and strides in, and you see the interior is carved from intricate, beautiful stone. Everything seems perfectly made. Rows of long tables, a huge hearth on the far side, the largest fireplace you've ever seen. These Goliaths can stand in it. And inside are a series of the same blue stones that you saw them using outside that are lit and just filling it with this pulsing blue firelight that fills the room with warmth. You can see on the walls are numerous pieces of armor, weapons, and even a couple of art pieces here or there. Off to the sides, you can see there are sets of stairs that wrap up into columns and vanish into the ceiling above. A little bit misleading is that this first floor, the ceilings go up 3 stories. It's just impossibly high ceilings. And floating around are just these tiny little globes of light blue light that just kind of float around, and you watch as Lhasa walks in. Some of them begin immediately hovering above him, providing him with a constant source of light. All the other Goliaths will just kind of notice it, and you'll see them immediately perk up. Everyone will grab, backpacks by their shoulders, and they'll begin walking in, their plate boots thudding against the stone floors. You'll get to the end, and you'll just see Lhasa sort of standing and watching. Everyone come in, before it gets any colder.
Inside we go! Hip hey!
Yes, we'll go until the end and we'll go in as well.
Yeah, Martell go in with the handmaiden.
When all of you are in, the doors will close on their own volition. And you will, for the first time since arriving at Eridu, feel a pleasant and overwhelming warmth. It immediately bleeds into your core and shakes all the chill from your bones. You watch as the Goliaths begin just dropping packs onto these tables, very much like watching people returning home from a long vacation and just, settling luggage down and just begin working off all their various layers. And this is the first time that you actually see them begin removing parts of the plate armor, starting with their helmets, where they actually reveal their faces. And that is where it is very obvious when it happens. Nazor and Gamir both are women currently. But you get the first glances of all of these Goliaths as they are finally doffing their armor. And it is unsurprising. They are very large, well-built, muscular from pretty much head to toe. And many of them are sporting tattoos, of which largely match a lot of the same sort of scrawl work that Lhasa put on the exterior of the temple. The only one who doesn't is Nazor. As far as you can tell from what is the skin that is revealed from the neck up at the very least is just plain gray skin. Everyone, please make yourselves at home and settle in. As expected, you are our guests. We expect that you will treat this place as the sanctuary that it is with respect. We will feed you, and you will have your own beds, and this place will be safe for the night. You find either of the stairs to the left or right, and he'll gesture to the pillars. They basically look like large columns, large pillars of marble, except there are doors on the lower halves, and you see stairs wind up into them. They will lead you up to the upper floors where the bed chambers lie. Further beyond that is our armory. Beyond that is our place of worship. If you do not have a purpose to be there, I would ask that you do not enter.
Tiziana will point out that they want her to visit there frequently. Just kidding. She'll relay everything.
And then the most important part. All of you that are currently still affected by wild magic, please come up to the hearth. I'll begin working on all of you.
I assume Tajira relays that.
Yep, and she'll actually just bring her forward too.
Find out how long these temples last. Jeez.
Say Lithian will basically just scream in Loss's face, "Help!"
You just kind of see, he just stares at Lithian impassively, like, he just raises a hand just to quiet you. And he reaches to a belt pouch where he pulls out a handful of glittering crystalline dust. And he begins saying a prayer, and the holy symbol on his chest lights up. And then he opens his palm, and the dust floats into the air, and it fills your vision, Lithian. And then you watch as it sort of sparkles and then begins swirling around you. And then right as it sort of begins to blink out of little sparkly bits of existence, it just vanishes. You slowly begin to hear the crackle of the fire and the sound of armor plates being doffed and the low conversations that are being held in the room. And then eventually everything kind of slowly returns to full volume.
She'll like start touching her ears.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear your voice out loud. That's so nice. She'll like just grab Tajira and give her a big kiss on the cheek. Thank you for helping.
Just blush a little. You are welcome.
That she'll just walk off to go sulk by herself again.
And then Lhasa will take care of Nazor and Ymir, where similar spell castings, except the crystalline powder will more or less form a cloud from head to toe and then flash in a brief spark of divine magic. And you'll those of you watching will slowly observe as certain parts of their body will begin to reshape a bit and fill back out their clothes and armor in the way that their slightly more feminine forms did. Especially Ymir's very broad and thick belly, which comes back in full force. And then suddenly you can just hear you can just hear Ymir's voice filling the hall as he just begins bellowing on laughter. And you watch as the Goliaths finish taking off their armor. They go over to sections of the walls of the temple where they place it against the wall and it remains affixed. And by the time they're done, all of their plate mail looks like ornamentation pieces. They're beautiful when they're just sitting there arranged on the wall. Their weapons are likewise placed on either side. And then you watch Ymir go through the painstaking process of him unloading his bags, which after a moment you start seeing him unload one of the backpacks he was carrying, except he begins taking things out of it that are almost impossible for them to be in there. And then you begin to realize, oh, he's carrying like 3 or 4 extra dimensional bags, and they're all filled with stuff. So it's like not even just like, oh yeah, one was enough, we have a bunch of unreasonable stuff in it. No, he has basically everything. He's carrying enough equipment and supplies that like feed a small army. Of which, out of a bag that is actually interesting, none of you have ever seen anything like this before. So imagine a full like hiker's backpack, like it's like 4.5, 5 feet tall, about 3 feet wide. It has multiple metal buttons that he undoes all the way around, and then he folds it open. So it's 6 feet across. And then you see him reach into this just impossibly deep, dark hole, and he lifts out a whole cask that is about as wide as he is. And then he sets it down onto the table, and you see him go back and close the same bag. And all the Goliaths come up with, you now notice for the first time, they all have tankards that are attached to their belts, and they all come up. And they all get a fill. And they will offer each of you a drink.
Tizira gladly accepts.
Yeah.
What is it, by the way?
It is the same stout that was mentioned earlier.
Ah.
Notes of butterscotch and chocolate. Tiny bit of pine.
Yeah.
And it's very strong. It's like a 10%er. It's a kick.
Tizira is going to look for more stories. Talk to a different of the party now. Different person who didn't tell a story yet.
Meanwhile, Gamir is just handing out tankards. Now enjoy this part of our religion. Please, I insist.
I shall.
The tankard's the size of your head, Hazard. They don't have small tankards here.
I love fish bowls. I don't know what you're talking about.
You can sit in it like it's a jacuzzi. You want a 10-gallon hat? Well, here you go. That being said, just for funsies, any one of you that are partaking of the beverage, that is actually no, I'll even take one from Lithian because it's been a long time now, and she could have. She's been very introspective with her loss of hearing. A nature check. Really want someone to figure out what these tankards are made out of.
It's not me. I'm going to tell you that much.
I want to try. But it's terrible.
Is this about the drink or just the tankards?
It's the tankard.
If it's about the drink, Martel's probably not partaking. Or
No, it's about the
understanding,
tankard.
But if it's the tankard, all right, then I'll make a nature check.
Yeah, TZL got 14.
I mean, it's pretty good, I guess, an 18.
All right, that'll get us there.
Was to say, yeah,
Lithian?
19.
All right. In which case, Lithian and Martel. Other than noticing that each tankard is unique in the very, very detailed and intricate etchwork that is done on each tankard, depicting some sort of scene of either craftsmanship or battle, or even the occasional beautiful landscape. The tankards are all incredibly light, despite how large and dense the metal is. It's a pretty quick realization that these tankards, and probably a lot of the metal that you sort of observed here, is all mithril.
Oh.
Which,
Well, that is exciting.
mithril is pretty rare, especially to find in large amounts. And so just even just sort of looking at like, oh, these tankards are mithril, and then sort of realizing, oh, a lot of the gear they have is mithril, and going, oh, that's a lot of mithril.
Yeah. Martel takes quiet note.
But the night will continue as everyone begins to unwind. The Goliaths are all wonderful hosts, all of which are very happy and eager to sort of talk about what their journey's been like, things they've seen and faced, fights they've been a part of. Lhasa is, while still very, open to discussion and speaking on things, is by comparison to the others much quieter, which is to say he's normal compared to the others.
Right.
In order of basically, I guess, in order of loudness, it goes Gamir, Nazor, now Fodder, and then Lhasa. With Lhasa being just a normal person in terms of like engagement, but with Gamir being very loud and maybe a tiny bit abrasive occasionally. After a period of time, Nazor he vanishes, going up to the second floor, and then eventually comes down with a large metal platter covered in food and baked breads. There are roast meats, all just everything that looks fresh and delicious. And he just begins serving people food. And the rest of the night, for those of you that stick around, the Goliaths entertain and sing songs and tell stories, several of which they are musicians, and they have very beautifully made instruments that are hanging in the hall that they pull down and play. Of which, between the group of them, they're actually a small band, at the very least, with the representation of instruments. Between drums and lute and flute and violin, like, they have a pretty good range. And it just seems bright and merry, and it is very easy to forget that outside these temple walls, there is a land filled with ice and wild magic and rampaging primordial creatures. And for a moment, you can take a breath. And we will be getting a long rest, and this is probably where we're going to pick up next week. But because I love having these in advance, I want some D100 rolls.
Can I roll it next week?
Sure. If you don't, as long as you don't mind risking maybe forgetting about it. I will do my best to remember, but sometimes I forget things.
Do it.
Yeah, be a team player or something.
I can't roll words.
Dude.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know you're trying to wrap up and doing D100s, but very quickly, when entertainment starts breaking out, Martel would have approached Lhasa and, in the spirit of keeping things holy and respectful, would have told him that she is a traveling dancer. Some of her dances are more sensual than others, as to what would be acceptable inside this temple before getting up to join in entertaining.
He gives you a look, and in no uncertain terms, basically says, dancers are artists too. If it is your art and your creation, whatever it is acceptable within these walls.
She just smiles and says, then I will try to lift the spirits of all of you. And she will join in dancing.
Dance we shall.
Some of them are good, some of them follow the story of the songs if she knows it. Others are just straight up for the excitement of the men in the room.
Starts raining gold coins. All right, well, give me those reports, ladies and gents.
100.
Oh, nice. That's what you were on.
Wow. A 20 for Martel.
You got 100? Nice.
I think this is the first time I got 100.
And Lithian?
19.
You and Martel, besties in everything, I see. Hand in hand.
We do this a lot.
And also is just, it's better than the 1 and the 3 I rolled earlier, so I'm okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you didn't want another one. That would have been bad news. And just so we can maybe preface it for everybody, what is Tajira doing tonight? Is she thinking about something in particular? Is she praying to a god she secretly worships? What is on Tajira's thoughts?
I think that I said that she's looking for a good story.
All right. I can work with that. I can work with. With that being said, because we're a little bit over time, that's where we're gonna end.
Thanks for hanging out, chat. Love you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody that was hanging out with us tonight. We had a very good, consistent viewership, which again is always super exciting. Thank you for watching. For those of you interested, if you're not already following us here on Twitch, please do so. I have started the official Twitter account. It's at Dire Consequence, super easy to find. And same for a Facebook page that I'm getting off the ground shortly, which is also just going to be Dire Consequence. Same thing across all platforms because that is the best way to do it. So if you want to find updates and keep up with things that are going on there, that'd be great. Along with little things that I'll be posting from time to time pertaining to what I'm working on, thought processes and things like that. If you just want to get a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. Otherwise, that's it from us tonight. As usual, stuff going on all week. Tuesdays, Moonrise. Wednesdays, Orphaned Honor, the game I play on Thursday. And then we're back here on Friday with Convergence. So we hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for playing. And as always, if you can't do anything else, make good choices. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.